start with my favorite, blood. Blood is great, not only as a complex chemical system, but because we can run all kinds of tests on it. Most are actually testing for iron, which is a central atom of hemoglobin that binds the oxygen from the lungs and transports it all over the body.
Fantastic.
Do you want to find this killer or not, detective? Blood contains many finely tuned chemical systems that allow it to maintain the chemical environment needed for the body's metabolism. Hemoglobin is one of these chemical systems. It is the oxygen transport protein. While our brains, nerves, and muscles depend on carbohydrates, glucose for energy, and although we might as immobile as plants if it weren't for the compact storehouse of energy that fat provides, it's proteins that give the very shape to our bodies. Proteins form our hair and nails, along with water. They're the principal substances of our muscles, organs, blood, and skin. Proteins form the collagen of the connective tissue that holds our bones together and wraps our body in flesh. Proteins contain DNA, the molecules of heredity. Do you want to guess how many different proteins there are in the human body?
Not particularly.
About 50,000. And about 100 billion proteins on Earth. Amazingly, their polymer chains arising from only 20 naturally occurring amino acid monomers. The name comes from the common structural features, which is the central carbon atom, an amine functional group, NH2, and a carboxylic acid functional group, COOH. Get it? Amino acid. Functional groups are responsible for the characteristic chemical reactions of these molecules.
Hemoglobin, protein, oxygen, transportation, check. So what will we find?
The blood's main job is to deliver O2 to all parts of the body by hemoglobin protein. Oxygen is transported from the lungs to the cells by reattaching itself to the iron Fe atom to the heme of the hemoglobin via the special cells in the lining of the lungs. So we can test for whether or not hemoglobin is oxygenated or not, which will tell us about the possibility of poison. For example, oxygen-rich heme area is bright red and a different molecular geometry. Technically, it's planar, rather than the heme area without oxygen, which is domed, non-planar, and has a dull red-bluish hue. So how does cyanide and carbon monoxide kill people? The heme and the iron atom prefer to bond to them over oxygen by like 200 times the attraction. Your body screams for oxygen as you futilely gasp and gulp for air. It is most unpleasant. Let's drop this rag into a solution of hydrogen peroxide. The iron metal will act as a catalyst to produce hot water vapor. It will appear as a strong stream of steam. It appears to be blood, and so it's worth sending off for typing and maybe DNA analysis. You know what else would decompose H2O2?
A dead body?
No, not that kind of decompose. Decomposition is a class of chemical reactions where one reactant breaks apart into multiple products. I was thinking of liver. Liver contains a lot of enzymes, which are biological catalysts. Didn't you say that one of the persons of interest was eating a liver?
Yeah, John Whitson.
We have this lovely vomit. Talk about your Locard's principle, huh, detective? Let's add it to some H2O2. In this case, I have mixed it with a bit of dish soap so that when H2O2 undergoes decomposition to O2 and vapor, we'll see a column of foam. This test is sometimes referred to as elephant toothpaste.
Why is that stuff turning that nauseating gray color?
While I cannot be 100% certain, that nauseating gray material looks to be oxidized liver. That and the prodigious production of the positive test would suggest liver in the vomit. We also look for proteins in the Bayerette reagent.
And why is that important to look for?
Meat is basically composed of water and protein. It will help confirm that it was liver. Remember your basic training, detective? We are looking for discernible uniqueness. We want to correctly analyze the evidence so that it points us to the one individual above all others. One test is not going to do that.
It's second nature to me.
Okay, on to the Bayerette test. Proteins give a positive Bayerette test because they contain peptide bonds. A peptide bond is a covalent bond between the carboxyl group of one amino acid and the amine group of the next amino acid in the protein chain. If they are present, the reagent will turn the solution from blue to purple and even pink.
Even pink?
Yes, the test detects a lot of peptide bonds. Okay, smart guy, tell me what a carboxyl and amine functional group are made out of.
COOH and NH2.
Very good, you're a fast learner.